When I say I want you to learn and understand and embrace and give your gift out into the world, I am not talking specifically about something that can be monetized or something that is even on view for other people. When you start listening to who you are, what you like it doesn't have to be a really big jump into, I must figure out what my gifts are. I must figure out who I am, how I am, and what I bring to the world. No, let's take the pressure off of that, okay? Well, hi there. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Intuition, Your Success Compass. I'm Vicky, and my love in this lifetime is to help other people, you in particular, learn how to embrace your gifts and to know your brilliance. And my intuitive gifts are the way that I get there. The insights that I get about someone when I'm working with them are often filled with such glee. And I don't think that there's a frequency word or at least one that I know well enough to use that could describe the joy that flows through me when I meet someone and their essence is right there, right? Like I can see how amazing you are, but you can't see it. And I've long known that part of my role in this lifetime is to introduce people to themselves, like introduce you to yourself with your brilliance. And in the past, yeah, sometimes people think I'm blowing smoke or I'm sugarcoating or BSing. But if you know me well enough, you know I don't BS. It's not part of my wiring. Call it New England upbringing, call it my soul level. No need to do that. But I also think it has a lot to do with me respecting the fact that the person I'm talking to on some level, you know your brilliance, you know the gifts that are within you. They just got conditioned out of you. And this critic, judge, voice, other people's influence is louder than your own intuition, your own knowing. And I'm in this lifetime, I believe, to help people reverse that, to figure out how to listen more to that, your intuitive self, to understand your brilliance, your gifts, and to harness them, to use them, and then to bring it out into the world in a ripple effect. So for this episode, that's what we're going to talk about. We are going to dive into the idea of embracing and tapping into that wisdom that you have, you came in with as a soul, choosing a human body. You said, let me go do this. Let me go figure out how to be human and how to embrace who I am without getting a fat head and taking it out on other people or judging other people or any of that kind of stuff. So that's what I want to talk about, because I know with everything within me, around me, my knowing, my intuition, my soul, that once each of us really embraces who we are and really loves who we are, that we'll stop projecting onto other people and we'll stop taking it personally when other people project onto us, because we'll be like, that's your stuff. I know who I am. I'm grateful to know who I am because I've done the work. And I do not underestimate nor want to minimize how much bravery it takes to look at your conditioning, to look at what you're thinking about yourself or what that voice inside your head is saying to you, and to face it and to say, no, that's actually not who I am. And I had so many experiences of this growing up, but also into my adulthood. And then after, my husband passed, figuring out, wait a minute, I have to have my own individual thoughts and only consider myself. What the heck does that look like? I mean, I'm one of 8 kids. That was not an option growing up, right? Like I wanted, and knew I had an individuality, but when you're one of 8 kids in a very small town, you get lumped, like you get lumped together. I remember going to classes and well-meaning teachers, I really do know that they were well-meaning, would say to me, oh, Well, you're like Mickey because you like science. Great. Well, you're like Stephanie because you like to read. Well, you're like this one, you're like that one. Uh, I loved that in the moment, but I also felt a certain level of, can you see me who I am? Can you see what I bring to this picture? I found that in music. I found that in band and in chorus because thankfully those teachers hadn't been around for 20 something years and didn't know my siblings. So I found a home and a way to express my gifts through choir, through playing the clarinet. Thank you very much. Bass clarinet. Love that thing. Made my nose tickle, but I loved it. Loved the rich tone of it. And I found my way in that for a little bit and then lost it again. Meet this guy. He's got 2 kids. I'm naturally a nurturing person. I'm not the mom that's going to fawn all over you, but I'm going to love you for your little being self. And then found, like I said, my way through, 27 years later, realizing I better do something individually or I am going to pixelate right out of myself. And I see this a lot in my clients. I primarily work with people who are very successful in their career and from the external have everything that looks like life should be amazing and they're so embracing their gifts, but very often they're not. And they're still in a practice of everyone else comes first, or I don't even know who I am. That's my favorite line when somebody says, Vicky, I don't know who I am. I'm like, well, I do. And let's see if we can grow that and expand upon it using your bravery, your talents, and my gift of intuition and years of experience as a coach. So I want to talk to you. I am going to go into some of the blocks, some of the issues that we face as humans, because we may all look different, but there's a fundamental wiring that happens within us in our beautiful brains and having a soul and learning to integrate that. And once you learn to do that, life, it does have a lot less turmoil and there is more groundedness and self-surety. Promise you, there is. And again, it takes that bravery to decide that you want to do that. So there are some conditions that I have learned over the years to spot while keeping an open mind about whomever I'm working with and their individuality, because our gifts are different. The fact that you are unique is one of the most beautiful things about our species. Like, I really feel like the uniqueness that happens in every person is exciting. And sometimes I don't want to get to know that person. It's not like I'm like, ooh, please let me know the ding dongs of the world, or I want to know what makes them tick and how they got to the point that they're expressing their opinions, but I don't need to hang out with you. But the idea that we all have a uniqueness about us and a gift that's within us, and it's just waiting to be understood and brought out into the world. And it doesn't have to be, and I think sometimes it's even more sweet when it's not that performative gift, right? Because I have worked again with people who are very successful in the entertainment industry and who are Olympians and who are moguls like in their world, and they still don't know what their gifts are. Because those are the things they're good at and they bring it to the world. And I'm so grateful they do. But that might not be their gift. Their gift may be in how they really see people and how they feel so intuitively what's going on. So it's not always the gift we see on stage. And sometimes that can often lead us into different directions that we don't get to know exactly who we are because someone's caught on that we're very good at something. So I want to clarify the idea of what is a gift in the external force and what is a gift that's internal. And if they match, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. But if they don't match, like say you are someone who's really good in communication and you help other people bring out their inner voice and their talents and all of that. And yet your gifts is that you feel the most lit up about are your gardens and your ability to know just what nutrient does that flower or that plant need in order to thrive in its life force, right? So they don't always line up. So when I say, I want you to learn and understand and embrace and give your gift out into the world, I am not talking specifically about something that can be monetized or something that is even on view for other people. I have a client who, if you ever heard her sing, like you would melt. Like the tone, you would just melt. I know because I've experienced it and I've melted. And we also realize that that's the gift that she gives herself and her inner family, innermost family members and her puppy. Her puppy loves when she sings. It's so freaking cute. But it fills her with joy. And I think I was probably the first person in her life that said, "Oh, you don't have to share this. You don't have to share this, right? Just because you have that structure and that capability of carrying a tune does not mean that you are beholden to bring that to the world. What does your soul want to do with it? What do you want to do with it?" And I would probably faint if I ever was walking in the woods and I heard her voice coming out because that's what it came to, right? She wanted to just walk in nature and to sing what came to her and to, I feel like, reflect the tones of nature and share that. I am so grateful that she could hear that because then she shows up in the world with her, what she gets paid to do in such a clear, concise, honest, open, available way because she's no longer resentful of the fact that this gift voice that she has to be a gift for the whole world. Does that make sense? And the reason I'm sharing this with you is I want you to hear that there might be external pressure of bringing your talent, your gift, your experience to the world so that it takes away the joy of the gift. And that's sad because you came into this world to experience learning how to be you. You didn't come into this world to be of service to others. It's nice when we do that. It's collaborative. It's part of our journey, I believe, to learn how to give. But that does not mean that you have to gift your whole self and have nothing left for you. I don't believe it does. There may be a pressure to do that, especially if you've shared whatever this gift is. And there may also come external validation. But have you ever paid attention to or followed someone on social media and they become known, like they go viral, they become known, and then they crash because they don't have the permission, I think, within to understand that they're not a commodity to other people. They have a responsibility first and foremost to themselves. But I don't think anybody ever told them that. And as a species, I think we can be very greedy as humans. And when we have something that we enjoy, we want more and we want more, we want more. And oftentimes I'll comment on somebody's page of, you are not responsible for all of these people commenting towards you, nor do the ones of us that are pretty practical and grounded think that we have access to your whole life simply because you've shared this part of your life. Because I want them to hear that I love the fact that you are sharing your ponies. I love the fact that your goofy little dog says this, or your kid has brilliant observations about the world. Yeah, I want to see those things because we're naturally voyeuristic and I am among them. But I don't want someone to feel like they have to get up and produce for others because that's actually where we lose what we were first pulled in to enjoy in the first place, right? You've seen it. I know you've seen it. And I don't want you to experience that too, where there's a relying on someone else saying this gift that you have is valid. I want more of that. And then you lose the joy of whatever that gift is. Admittedly, I have not gone live and done readings on the social media platforms because it's such an individual experience for someone, for me to see their essence, for me to share in that soul moment, that I don't want to cheapen it and I don't want to make it a carnival act. So part of this is protecting my gift that I have developed over the last 25 years. Well, 50, almost 55 if you count my whole life, but 25 years professionally, because there's something that feels like it dilutes it in that experience. And many people have said, you have to go on and do readings. You're so good at it. And I said, no, I don't. No, I don't. Because that's the gift I give those who come to me individually. That's the gift I give myself. I would love to come on and just have conversations about coaching and how you can line yourself up and what is intuition and all of that. And I'll do it when my gift that I have within me tells me it's time to do that. And it takes a certain level of courage to be able to do that. So looking at some of the blocks that of even discovering what your gift is, you eventually can show up in a place where you're like, I really respect that this is my gift. You may have a gift. Have you ever met that person who genuinely is smushy, gushy, nurturing, like might even call you baby and really means it? And who it just opens their whole heart to you, and you meet them in the grocery store, right? And you have this experience, you walk away and you're changed from that experience. That in that person that they probably don't even realize is a gift. And more often than not, the thing that comes very easily to you is the gift that you're not seeing or not recognizing. So you may have an imposter syndrome thing going on, that you doubt your abilities or you feel like you don't have anything to offer, you don't have a gift. That would be the critic speaking in your head, because everyone has a gift within themselves, okay? So if in positive intelligence, which I've just gone through their program and become a positive intelligence coach, amazing work, Shirzad Shamin. Huge shout out, because and admittedly, I'm going to toot my own horn here, because that I find difficult is in tuning my horn and my gifts and my abilities, is the positive intelligence experience has validated to me that I'm really good at what I do. But some of most of it is very much based on becoming aware of the judge, the critic, the ego, whatever you want to call it. And then the soul voice, the sage, the wisdom, the knowledge, the stuff that I've talked about for 5 years on this podcast, which is why I'm so excited to be in the program and have it marinate with all that I do. You may have an experience with yours that's so loud that you can't identify what your gift may be. If you are someone who naturally smiles at someone else, that's a gift. If you are someone who is able to, like my partner, when we're moving, you would not believe the amount of stuff we fit in his Honda Fit because of his spatial concept. And when I said to him, that's really a gift, he poo-pooed it. He was like, no, it's not. It's just common sense. I said, I promise you, sir, I do not have that. So that is a gift. And just say thank you. Can you put together and naturally know like what ingredients go with which ones, and you just kind of whip it up? I don't follow recipe. People who don't follow a recipe, you are gifted. You are magnificently gifted. So start looking at what the blocks may be in there. What is your critic or your judge saying to you? If you hear, I don't have a gift, you are in that judge voice. You are in that critic, unsupportive side of the ego. I love the ego. It's a freaking adorable. But it can lead to limiting belief systems. And you may not believe that you have something that is gift worthy. And I specifically chose this word because it's it's marketed as if you have a gift, you must share it, you must monetize it, you must create it, you should sell your paintings, you should take the knitting that you're doing and make it a thing. Like the felting that I do, I've been told many times I should create that, I should sell it. No, because the gift I give myself is in creating those cute little boogers, because that releases stress from me. If I put the stress of creating them for sale onto myself, I would not enjoy it. I know I wouldn't. I know I wouldn't. So if there's some limiting beliefs, thoughts coming in there, okay, that you don't have a gift, you don't know what it is, that's for everybody else, that's not for me, and you have those thoughts coming up, I want you to pause. I want you to take some deep breaths if you can. Sometimes taking breaths when you're all amped up just doesn't work, and it's okay. So then I want you to go to wiggling your toes in your shoes, clenching your butt cheeks, putting your hand, oops, sorry, microphone, putting your hand on your heart and feel that heartbeat, rubbing your hands together, creating some energy. And then take some breaths and have a conversation with your soul self, with your sage self, with your wisdom, and say, okay, I might not know what my gift is, but I'm going to start paying attention, because I promise you it will be what lights you up. It will be what brings you joy. It will be what intrigues you, like what interests you. Why all of a sudden are you into bees and wanting to create a pollinator garden? That's a gift. That's a gift, my friend. Embrace that. The fear of rejection may be very real for you. Like if you share this with other people, they'll say, that's not a smart idea. That's a dumb idea. What are you thinking? You know, that criticism, just know that that's them in their critic, right? A lot of the times, I just said this to a client yesterday, because the way she lives her life is inspiring, impressive, both very expansive and applicable, you know, productive member of society. That's important as a human, that we're a productive member of society. And I had said to her that she may need to take into consideration that those around her are reacting from their fear, their judge, their critic, because they don't want to live their life the way she lives her life. She very much follows her intuition. She very much listens to that aspect of herself that says, this is what's in alignment for you. And it always works out because she follows her intuition. But she follows it with action. You have to do both if you want to have a fully manifested life. Okay, you have to do the work. But if there's a fear of rejection or what other people might think, you may never fully see your gifts. Many people croak without seeing their gifts or their value in this world, and not your value that you bring to other people, but the value you bring to yourself. Because once you bring your value to yourself, you're going to bring it to other people. So once I said that to her, and I said, you can say very kindly to them, I know this scares you. And I'm not asking you to do that. I'm not. But this is what lights me up. Can you support me in that? And see what they say. A lot of the times when you reflect to someone their pain and you hear it and you're very present for it, it often dissipates. Now, if you have that negative nincompoop in your life who is going to shoot down everything, well, then stop sharing what lights you up with them. Keep it surface. They don't have to leave your life, but keep it surface, okay? Because a lack of supportive environment will keep you from exploring and expressing your gifts. It just will. There's a big difference in my relationship with my husband and my relationship with my partner now. My husband was a kind guy, but pretty self-centered. And anything I excelled at bothered his ego. And yet he wanted me to excel because he knew when I excelled, it benefited the household and it benefited him. And we did this roundabout thing for 2 decades until I said to him, "Stop. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. I am going to pursue what's in the best interest of the kids, myself, and this household, but I'm no longer taking into consideration your fears that I might be more successful than you. You need to see a therapist around that. You need to do the inner work. I am not that therapist. Go off." And from that point forward, we actually had a lot of fun because I said to him, "I know very well I can be without you. You don't know that you can be without me. So, this game that you're playing isn't going to work. A lack of a supportive environment is no longer working for me. So either get supportive or pound salt." And from that experience, I know I created this partner who he believes that I can do anything, but he also brings his intelligence. Like he'll say, "Well, have you thought this through?" Or "What's your perception on this?" And it's so respectful that sometimes I go, "You know what? That's true. I do feel like it might be in my best interest to, just take 6 months off, but that would not be good for Vicky. I need the interaction of other humans and the inspiration of this podcast to show up in a way that's not abandoning myself." So the lack of supportive environment can actually help you see where you could support yourself and then where you could actually demand that in those around you. And if they aren't able to show up, they can then pound salt too, which for those of you that aren't I don't know, it's just a very New England experience, expression my father used to say all the time. So it probably relates to cultivating salt. I should look that up instead of using phrases that I don't know the background of. Anywho, so with the self-doubt and the lack of supportive environment or the fear of rejection or someone making fun of it, whatever your gift is, it can be difficult to uncover. And I'm going to suggest that when you start getting that inkling, or maybe you already know, but you're afraid to pursue it or share it, keep it to yourself for a little bit, or only share with those that you know have that love for you. So if they do reflect back to you, like Mike does to me, it's through love. It's not through doubt. And if you need extra support, you can lean on yourself in making sure that you are healthy and nutritionally sound and that you are creating a mindset that is supportive of you. I love the Magic Mind product for that. I'm so grateful for it because I didn't eat so well yesterday. It was not a great show up for Vicky. But I know with that Magic Mind on board, my B vitamins are covered. As a vegetarian, that's very important. My mindset today, I don't have a hangover because I have the supportive elements that are within Magic Mind. And it's why it's the only product I really talk about, because it brilliantly supports me in every aspect of my life, whether it's working out, whether it's showing up for my clients in a very clear-headed way, or whether it's more of a fundamental, "Vicky, you ate way too much sugar yesterday, and your brain and your body and your cells would like you to stay in that lane of the supportive mushrooms and the B vitamins and the system of what is the collaboration that happens within all of the ingredients that is Magic Mind." So, you can head to MagicMind/VickyB20 and you'll get 20% off. If you sign up for the subscription, 3-month subscription, you'll get 56% off just for signing up from my link. And then you can put that code in for your 20% off. Okay. So VickyB20, get you there. I have thankfully had the feedback from a few clients and some of my close friends who are saying, "I wasn't really sure, but this stuff really works." So that's a way that you can create a supportive environment for yourself. is to look to how you're taking care of your body. Because when you're taking care of your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit, all of that, it's easier to show up in this physical life. It just is. So head on over there to magicmind.com/VickyB20 and get your supply. I am so grateful that you are here and you're considering what your gifts may be and how you can feel more centered, grounded, connected to yourself, because it really does show up in your intuition as well. When you start listening to who you are, what you like, start with your vegetables and your fruits and what you eat, and start there. Like, it doesn't have to be a really big jump into, I must figure out what my gifts are. I must figure out who I am, how I am, and what I bring to the world. No, let's take the pressure off of that, okay? You want to be happy, right? You want to feel fulfilled within yourself. If you make that the priority, you will figure out what lights you up. If you already know what lights you up, take a couple steps. It will increase your intuition. It will bring a peace. I know I'm really fast-paced because I get so excited about this topic, but it does bring a peace, and it will help you with your mindfulness practices. That getting in your body, putting your hand on your heart. In positive intelligence, we call it a PQ rep. It's like lifting weights to build the biceps, and you have to do it more than once. You can read all the books. You can take the classes. You can listen to the podcasts, but ultimately you have to do the work. And I know you can, and I know it's there. And if you need help recognizing your gifts, you can contact me. Happy to do a session for you. Happy to walk alongside of you like I do with my other brilliant clients who not only discover their own gifts, but they're able to help others discover theirs, because they show up in the world 80% of the time. None of us can do 100%, fully connected to who they are. And the more present we are, the more joyful life is. So I am going to encourage you to listen to your voice, your inner voice, your intuition, your soul, your sage. And anytime that voice that says, you're not good enough, or you don't have this, or who's going to think that that's a good idea comes up, you're going to take a breath. You're going to rub your hands together. You're going to put your hand on your heart. If you're a very visual person, find something to stare at. If I'm out in nature when this voice comes up, I find one leaf and I just look at that leaf, and I keep coming back to the leaf and how the wind is blowing the leaf, or how still is that leaf today because there's no wind blowing. That doesn't happen very often around me. I seem to have moved into a wind tunnel. So there's a lot of opportunities to watch the leaves, but you're going to do that. You're going to catch that voice. You're going to pause. And then you're going to get in your body. You're going to become present, because what that will also do is it will, right hemisphere of your brain, the right brain, and it will give you more creative ideas about what your gift may be. I would love you to share what your gift is with me. Email info@vickybaird.com, Vicky Baird Coaching on all the platforms. You can go to my website, direct contact, vickybaird.com. Send me a contact thing. If you don't want it to be public, that's fine. But let me know what your gifts are, how you're discovering them, or what the fun is around discovering them. You did not come into this world to be a one idea being. So if you're someone who jumps from idea and gifts and gifts and gifts, ideas to different ideas, that might be your gift. Ever think of it that way? Thank you for being here. I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to this episode of Intuition, Your Success Compass. I appreciate you being here. If you would like more information about developing your intuitive skills, removing those blocks, and creating the life that feels the most successful to you, then head on over to vickybaird.com. That's VICKIBAIRD.com, and check out the courses, the groups, and the Spaces app that will allow you to be part of our community and know about upcoming events and specials. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode.